Okay, part 2 in the South by Southwest. The next event was the same day, the 10th of March at 4:15 at someplace called the Stay Put, 73 Rainy Street. And it was something called a pitch event. And it's hosted by the commercial section of the Czech embassy. So the commercial section means the delegate for the Czech Republic in the United States who is responsible for trade agreements between the nations and stuff, right? Now, the subject of the meeting was 8 cutting-edge startups will pitch their innovative ideas, followed by top-tier networking and live feedback from expert panels. Now, let me say this. If you were considered for the pitch event, you had to put your name in a hat a year ago and disclose already what it is that you had come up with, what was your capital inputs, what was your brilliant idea. And it was mulled around for a year before the next year's conference. So I want to just say, if you really want to look at cutting edge startups, maybe screen them like a week in advance. Take 100 participants and screen them a week in advance, and narrow it down to your top 10 or whatever. And then hold the pitch event. Or don't even hold the pitch event. I mean, just maybe you could hold an event to ask the general public, would you be interested in buying this? If you were really looking to pitch something, if you were really looking to be in the commercial activities of the United States, as for anybody, whether you're a U.S. citizen or a delegate from another country, if that was your purpose, is to conduct commercial business, and I would just say that to again, I'm just illustrating what should stand out to anybody that read through this agenda, but it probably didn't. So it just says that, and they're going to have these pitch. So that's basically and I went to one of these pitch events too, because my friend was, it was a fringe pitch event, but it was one of my friends, and I went with him to support him. And basically what it is they got a bunch of investors in the room, and handlers, and undercover agents, and they take the capital, the intellectual property of these people, and say, do they want to invest in it? So in other words, do they want to make money off of somebody else's idea? It's not so this guy can get his business up and running, trust me. In fact, in a lot of these things, they're looking to squash. When it says it's followed up by a top tier networking and live feedback from expert panels, but I couldn't even get past the part where it says they were pitching their innovative ideas, because they basically gave like 10 guys 3 minutes each to pitch their company, their business, their idea. And it was just ridiculous. It was like an hour and a half long meeting, and it was all this blah, 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 blah. But when it came time to pitch it, you were given only 3 minutes. I'm sorry. If your purpose, well, it just doesn't say. It says we're going to hear from 8 cutting-edge startups to pitch their innovative ideas. But if what's the purpose of your pitch? That's not a pitch. That's 3 minutes is not enough time for somebody to pitch their business. It's not. usually, I mean, that's just retarded. Anyway, I felt like the people who were pitching their businesses and their ideas should have been given at least 7 minutes, and maybe as much as 10. And then that would have kept us there for the majority of the hour and a half, actually listening to these guys who were pitching. I didn't say nothing, but there came a handler on me, and he was videotaping me the whole time. So, I mean, it was just creeping and crawling with these nasty foot soldiers of the reptiles. I don't know what else to say. But then it goes on to say right here, we're following it up. So after the 3-minute pitch, then it's going to be followed up by top tier networking and live feedback from expert panels. I didn't see any of that being scheduled, first of all. And I don't even know, what does that mean, top tier networking? Does that mean like the top 10 Chinese investors who are going to maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, and I just wanted to point that out. That was the so-called pitch event hosted by the trade officer, the delegate from the Czech Republic. So, yeah, like I said, I didn't even get a chance to go to any of the rest of these events because I figured I can't get a ticket. They won't sell me a ticket. When I walk in and I put my hand up and ask a question, they ignore my question, and then they run away from me. And then I try to corner them and say, hey, let's have a real discussion about some of the stuff on your agenda, shall we? And, no. So I just didn't go to anything after that. But I have to say this much, was starting on my second day there. These helicopters started flying over my friend's house. And it went like that every day for, I think it was 3 days. And they would mostly only come out, the helicopters would only come out if I went out into the garden and sat in the garden, and then they would show up. So I asked my friend, I said, are these helicopters normal? Do you have helicopters flying over your house every day? Is that, what's their purpose? Obviously they're not covering any traffic reports because the motorway is like nowhere near my friend's house. So there wouldn't be any need to be surveilling over these parts unless they were looking for somebody, because there's no news happening here. This is just a residential place, right? And he's like, yeah, I never thought about that, but I have noticed the helicopters. And he said, no, that's not normal. And I said, well, I just want you to pay attention to it because it seems like it's going to go on every day. And sure enough, it did. And the helicopters actually got lower and lower until the point where they were just like 15 feet off the top of his trees. Like the skids of the helicopter were like 15 feet or less away from the top of his live oak trees in his garden. That's how close they were getting to get their high resolution photos of me sitting in the backyard at my friend's house after I dared to go in front of these so-called experts and expose them for the communists that they are, for the idiots that they are, for the talking heads and regurgitating parrots of the central banks. That's right, I said it. So, anyway, I'll leave it at that, and I'll just go on and provide my commentary that I wasn't allowed to provide in Austin in person. And maybe somebody from that panel will reach the conclusion that they actually are interested in these things. But, I don't think they are until they lose their diplomatic passport and their security clearance and their 6-figure salary and all the other benefits that come along with it. Until such a time as that, I don't believe that they'll be motivated. I believe they'll be more motivated by what's in it for me kind of stuff. So, in that case, I would just refer back to a fact that if you are going to be silly enough to participate in the idea of something else governing your mind, aka government, whether that be State Department, as delegates from other embassies and this and that and the other, politicians, whatever, right? If you're gonna fall for that, right, I'm not going to judge that, right? I'm not going to say nothing about that, but I'm just saying, if you were signing up and that was your purpose of going to vote every year, was because you believed that these delegates and representatives were somehow supposed to represent your interests. So, if we want to believe that, then we have to take a look at the fruits of the labor of said delegates and representatives and government officials and politicians and police and sheriffs and judges and the whole lot of them, right? Take a look at the fruit that bears. Take a look at the results. And we can clearly see that there are many innovative ideas that don't even need to be pitched. They are already illustrated and demonstrated within operational businesses that are already fully up and functioning right there in Austin. There's a guy that makes rebar with hemp. So I don't think he got any props. I don't think he got any top tier networking and pitch events. I think he just went out there and did his stuff. And his name is Lucas Evans, and he runs a company called E3 Agriculture. Yeah. So for me, this is again what they're saying, what they're implying, or what they're wanting us to believe is that they're looking to get innovative ideas out there in the community to help the economy, to clean the environment, etc., etc. And that's what the people go there believing, but then they get lured in by these people who have no interest whatsoever in doing that. They just are interested in this. They worship at the altar of a false god. And so they'll do anything for that. And of course, you know, they most do it unwittingly, even to the extent that they're running their mouth, because they are so controlled by this false god that they make themselves vulnerable to what you call walk-ins, but not in a good way, like possession, hitchhiker spirits, that will keep them getting up on stage and wearing their ties and the little American flags on their suits and telling you that, you know, why are we still driving around in combustion engine vehicles? That's what I wanted to ask. I mean, why can't we just go around the room right here, right now, and just everybody who's got some kind of an idea, pitch it out in 1 or 2 words, or 4 words, or a couple of sentences, no more than 2 sentences. In which case I would have jumped up and said, I have many solutions which we can discuss offline after we sign the non-disclosure agreements. But right now, I want you to know my objective is, and the end result of my ideas is going to be clean water, clean air, clean soil, an increase in productivity, meaning the quantity and the quality of all of our produce that we can grow will increase. Public health will increase. Lower instances of petty crime. What else? Oh yeah, reduce, if not eliminate, the public health budget. And I mean, I could go on and on and on, but my purpose is for the sacred water, for Mother Earth, for all the life they support, and for the 7 future generations. And because I'm in this alignment, I get what you call downloads all the time that people turn around and sell it as intellectual property. So I'm just saying, you know, if anybody's interested in that, you know, cleaning the environment and leaving a better place for the 7 future generations, and having a good relation with our Mother Earth and the water, the sacred water of life, and really everything and everyone. If we want peace, and we want integrity, and we want honor in our communities and in our countries and around the world, then we need to have, let's just say, a better way of doing things than the way they're being done right now. And so I have this to present after you sign the non-disclosure agreement. It's simple. I don't need this to be targeting just, the Czech Republic embassy. This needs to go viral. This needs to be in the papers, for that matter. Hey, here's the innovative idea of the day. Who wants to support it? Crowdfund it. That kind of thing. Don't put it in these venues where your data is going to be harvested, and the ones with the really good ideas are going to get suicided. That's the plan of these reptiles. So I'm just saying, be careful when you attend these events. And I just want to leave it with this. Well, actually, I'm going to start the next one because it's getting too rainy, and I'm going to say next year and what they're going to do at this place called the South by Southwest. So, ciao for now.